Everyone's favorite orange kitty is back on the big screen. That's right, folks. I'm talking about Garfield. And I have a lot of thoughts with this film, so we ain't going to waste no time. And let's jump into the review of the Garfield movie right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new film, the Garfield movie, coming to theaters May 24th. I'm going to be very honest with you on this one. Why I do love Garfield, and I feel like it's one of those legacy IPs. Like, if you grew up on it, you love it, you appreciate it, you always make time, stop whatever you're doing to check it out if you see it on television. And whether this new generation has the same appreciation or not, the release of this film, my only excitement truly was just seeing the animation being brought to the big screen. Because you know, anytime you have an IP, whether it is a cartoon or if it's an anime, whatever it may be, when it comes to the big screen, they always up the value on the animation. And I'm going to start off right there by saying this is beautiful. I enjoyed it. But other than that, I didn't have really any other further expectations. I was like, listen, whether it comes on theaters or whether this came on some streaming service, I would check it out. But I did have my hesitations, and one being with Chris Pratt as Garfield, because he just recently voiced Mario, which I had my reservations on that as well too. And for someone who watches a lot of anime and cartoons and video games, I have the utmost appreciation for voice actors, right? And when we see these big actors step into these voice acting roles, to me, the name sells, the talent doesn't. It's not to say that some people can't do both, but it's clearly it's an obvious and easy understanding in terms of why certain people are casted for certain roles. So for me, Chris Pratt as Garfield did nothing for me. And in fact, he did nothing for me for this film as well either, because Garfield is such a lackadaisical, nonchalant, sort of monotone voice that at no time did I ever hear Garfield. I heard Chris Pratt the entire film. I mean, I tried to shake it off many times, but I just kept hearing Chris over and over and over. So that really hurt the film for me on that note. But on another note with voice acting, I mean, let's talk about Samuel Jackson, who comes in as Vic, who is Garfield's dad, because that's what the story is about. We are hearing a new story about Garfield's long lost father, and with him now meeting his long lost father after so many years, we also realize that his long lost father also has some folks after him to repay a debt, which happens to be Jinx, voiced by Hannah Waddingham, who does a fantastic job. But going back to Samuel Jackson, Samuel L., who has a very distinct personality, charisma, and voice, I gotta tell you, at times, I did not even realize that Samuel L. Jackson was voicing Vic, which is like, if there's anybody who doesn't have anything to prove here, it's Samuel L. And I think he did a fantastic job in his voice acting, which is not even close when it comes down to Samuel L. and Chris Pratt in terms of them voicing their characters. And sure, Chris may have a more difficult job because Garfield is such a known voice and the understanding of his voice characteristics, but at the end of the day, we should not be hearing these actors as if you close your eyes, you think you're talking to them, or if you open your eyes, you think you're going to see them. I think that obviously is not what people are trying to achieve in their voice acting performances, because Odie, the dog, Garfield's best friend or brother, however you want to put it, Harvey Gillian, who is just a fantastic actor. I mean, talk about this performance as well too, because Odie for once isn't just the pushover sidekick. He's actually very cool in this film. They actually give him a lot. But Harvey did a really good job with Odie, who doesn't require much, but he did a lot with it. We're living in such a strange time, folks. Snoop Dogg is voicing in this film, and not as a dog, but as Snoop the cat. Yep, there you go. But along with that, though, there's so many other voice actors I enjoy, and I will talk about that in a minute. But just to go back about Jinx, who Jinx is really just a sassy cat, you know, and Hannah does a really good job from every scene, having you invested into what Jinx may say or do next. So, you know, again, fantastic job on the voice acting there. But the film itself, like, there's some moments that there's, you know, some very hilarious dialogue. There's moments where it's just another adventure with Garfield, which if you still watch some of the cartoons now, you know, he goes off on these crazy adventures and he does these things and he eats and so on. So like, yeah, you have the fun moments, you have the moments that hit you a little bit in the film, especially young Garfield and understanding how Garfield and John have their bond and how, you know, Garfield's dad Vic plays a part into all of that. Like, you know, cool moments like that. You also have moments like, did y'all know Garfield had a collar tag? Yeah, like little stuff like that. So like, you get little cameos, you get little nods, and while this story I don't think truly breaks canon, but does, in, you know, it's sort of like has you kind of wanting to revisit certain things, because as we know, Garfield never had a dad, but he talks about the story as he narrates it and goes about this untold story. You know, I don't think it messes up the continuity per se or retcons anything, but like it definitely has you kind of like, to the point that thinking forward, you want more in this universe now. You know, you want more with Vic, you want more with Jinx, you want to see, you know, Jinx sidekicks, which we'll talk about in one quick second. But will they do it? Because with Chris Pratt being a voice actor, can they sign Chris to voice Garfield going forward? Or do they shift back to someone else, which is, you know, I have thoughts about that too, but there's that. But yeah, there's also like funny nods to pop culture. There's a Tom Cruise stunt joke, which I really did enjoy on that too. Product placement by Walmart and FedEx was definitely kind of out of the blue, but it was there. Talk about some of the characters now. First of all, Otto, who is a bull. Otto was absolutely enjoyable. Ving Rhames does a fantastic job as Otto. Going to Roland, who's voiced by Brett Goldstein. Roland is my favorite character. Roland is one of the sidekicks to Jinx, this dog that you know, has a little heart to him, but a little tough and whatnot. I really did enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy all these new characters that they brought, to be honest with you. But like I said, you know, the film doesn't really reinvent the wheel. It doesn't, you know, it's not like that must-see event. It is just another adventure with Garfield. So whether you get to it in the theaters, whether you get to it whenever it releases on streaming or video on demand, whatever it may be, I think it's definitely worth a watch, because it is very, very family friendly and oriented, and gives something for the OGs who love Garfield through all this time, and for the new folks who just love this big orange cat that loves to eat. You know, one way or another, I think there's plus in it, but it's just very much like okay, I saw it, great. Again, voice acting cast, fantastic. Did not at all enjoy Chris Pratt as Garfield. Did nothing for me. Never brought out the essence of Garfield that we know. Again, this very monotone, lackadaisical, nonchalant, you know, even dry humor at times. You get none of that. You close your eyes, you absolutely think you're going to open your eyes and see Chris Pratt on screen, only to find out that it is Garfield. Trust me. If they played the game and they said, guess what role Chris Pratt is voicing in this, you would not get it. You just wouldn't get it. But with that being said, yeah, check it out. If Garfield is one of your favorites, by all means, check this one out. It is a fun adventure with good animation, good voice acting, -1. And I'm just trying to be fair here. But yeah, check it out. It comes to theaters May 24th. Once you do, folks, jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about it. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.